since you born. Then you live and die. So if tomorrow never comes, it comes at no surprise. Looking death into his eyes, yeah, I witness guys start to recognize, analyze their own demise. Some people wasting time, walking around hypnotized, blinded by success and breast, but can't identify what's real with fake because the money just intensify. Jealousy plus the hate that equals genocide.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Life on Diagonal. I am your host, EJ Briz. Okay, y'all. I know it's been a minute, so I'm going to explain where I've been, everything, what happened, all that other good stuff. It is the summertime, so I just let a fly in the house. So if you see a fly flying around, please, disregard. I'm gonna make him pay some type of rent or something for flying in my house or whatnot. So, as always, if you haven't subscribed or checked out my other podcast, check out our other podcast. My co-host Still Biz, Thought Ops. Make sure you check out my clothing line, Hilly Hyenas. I put all that information in the description. I just designed some brand new shirts. This shirt kind of old, so that's why I look, beat up. I was came from the gym and everything. So, whew. So I'm just gonna let y'all know. I watched a few of my episodes, and when I watch my episodes, I'm like, man, there's things I should have said or I wanted to say that I forgot because I was trying to do everything off top, just freestyle and all that other stuff. So I wrote some notes. I'm old school. I took a pen and paper or whatever. So I'm gonna explain that too because that's in my notes or whatever. So if you see me looking at my notes or whatever, I might just leave my notes here, so I could have my talking points on what's going on. I'm gonna start doing this, all my episodes unless it's something that I have a story that I could just recall from my head. I might even just write notes down for that too. So, the name of this, a lot of times when I come up with names for episodes, I never really know what the name of the episode is, but I already know the name of this episode. And the name of this episode is Why Did You Stop? So I'll let you know why the name of this episode is called Why Did You Stop? So if you've been following me, the 1 year anniversary of my mother passing away passed. That was July 12th. What's today? Today is I think today August 4th or something like that. So it's going on a month. That process real hard. That's all I can say. It was real hard. So the reason why the name of this episode is called Why Did You Stop? So around July 4th weekend, I was at home getting ready to go to the gym. And I heard I heard my mother's voice, and it was, "Why did you stop?" So at that time, I had recorded a couple episodes for my channel, but I never posted them. It's just like I wasn't really in the mood to do it, and so um, I've been meaning to do this episode for like a month now. So for a month, that phrase, "Why did you stop?" has been resonating with me. And I was like, the other day, I like, man, I'm gonna buckle down. I gotta buckle down and get back to it because with me, I'm a procrastinator. I procrastinate. I'm a hard worker on a lot of stuff, but I procrastinate. And sometimes I do things just to see if I can do it, see what I could, how it turns out or whatever. And if it's not to my liking, I stop. And that's one thing, one of the many things that I am trying to change within myself. And plus, I'm here recording by myself. It's kind of weird just sitting here looking at the phone camera, just talking to myself. Maybe I need to start recording my son here so I could have an audience or something. Um, so one of the many reasons why I stopped because I was burnt out. I'm not gonna lie. With me trying to do my clothing line, doing my clothing business, I do everything for that. I run the website, I do all the designs, I do all whatever the promoting and promotion that you see. I do all that. And with our podcast Thought Ops, um, I had that going on, and then me being a father, trying to raise my son, still trying to process and deal with me grieving my mother, other stuff that's going on in my personal life when it comes to relationships and me working on myself and me trying to be a better person. It's hard doing a lot of this when you don't have that many people that don't have your back, or you have a person that's constantly there for you, and especially while you're trying to grieve. Man, it's hard when you really don't have nobody you can really confide in. Or I mean, I have people, but like a significant other to confide in, talk to. And when you're dealing with something like that, because there's times where I didn't eat because I didn't feel like cooking, and cleaning my house. I had to force myself to clean the house, and it's a lot of it was a lot of forcing going on. At times, I felt like I was neglecting my son because I'm still in the grieving process, but I still have to be a father. I still have to do for my son. I can't make that as an excuse when I have someone to raise, especially a young man. So I have to put my feelings to the side and everything I'm dealing with in order for my son to be straight. That's life of being a parent. I know you have to take care of yourself and do things so you can be that parent, but at this moment, my son needs me. So I was burnt out. I was um, burnt out with work. If you follow me on social media, you know that I really don't too much, like my job. I was having issues with my job, having problems being promoted at my job. But the crazy thing is, a lot of that turned around. I would like to say, as of July 25th, I no longer work at that place. I got a brand new job. I'm a supervisor. I wasn't looking for this job. This job kind of found me. There was a person. Uh, I work for a school. I worked for a school district, so I'm working for another school district. Like I said, I'm a supervisor. There was a person from the school district that took a liking to me, that saw the potential in me, that saw the value in me, and was willing to give me a chance. And when they hired me, they told me that when they met me, they knew one way or another they was going to get me from the other school district to come work for them. And ever since, I'm starting on my second week. I had my first week, everything was excellent. Starting on my second week, everything has been I have truly been blessed, and I have to thank God and my mom, because I know my mom's looking out for me on that. She knew how much I couldn't stand working at that place, and my mom wanted me to. She just wanted me to stop working there. She knew about the individual that was trying to hold me back, and I know my mom is watching over me, as we all say. When we have loved ones to pass on, they watch over us. But I still wish my mom was here so I could share with her, the good news that somebody was willing to, invest in me and seen the potential. Like I said, this is my second week work. This is my second week going into working at this place, and I feel more appreciated, more valued than I did at the other place for 22 years. So it's crazy because I was talking to somebody about the situation. They was When I was going through the situation, and they were saying that sometimes you need change. Sometimes you need to leave a place and go somewhere where you value. And I understood that, but when you've been at a place for 22 years, you put in the work, you put in the sacrifices, seniority, vacation time, everything that you built up. It's like, I don't want to leave here because I put all this, this stuff into, all this value into this job. And I mean, and then it's changed. So when you're doing something new and it's changed, you kind of get apprehensive and don't really know if you should or should not be doing it. But I'm like, man, I lost my mom, and I'm going to take chances. So I took a chance. Um, Went through the interview process. I was the top candidate. I have problems pronouncing certain words too, so you'll see when I'm, you know, doing this channel. Um, and it feels good to be valued. And ever since I got this new job, um, it feels like a lot of stress and a lot of weight has been lifted off my shoulder. You don't realize how much stress that you're going through until you actually leave something that was real stressful. And that job was real stressful. It was going through a lot of changes. It was a lot of people that I felt like I could trust that I no longer could trust anymore. I was under a union. The union president act like they didn't care about the well-being of the workers, and the union reps just, they just didn't care. So it's like, why am I paying into a union? I'm paying monthly into a union, and I don't use the union. And it's like, you don't care about my well-being. You redo the contract, and then you let them add other stuff in and just give it to them, and which would hinder me from doing stuff in my personal life. So I was glad that, all of that happened, because I was burnt out. I mean, I was barely making it with everything that I was doing. And a lot of people didn't recognize it because, I laugh, I joke, I have fun. You might see me on social media, but I even do it now. Like, I post on social media, and as soon as I post on social media, I log out, because I don't want to. I just need some time for myself. It was affecting my health, physically, to the point where I was hardly eating. I was eating maybe once a day. Um, Definitely wasn't sleeping. My sleeping pattern got a little bit better, but I never really, um, you know, I never really get good sleep as I got older. Probably I have a lot of injuries too, so it's kind of hard for me to sleep with all my aches and pains. So it was really, really wearing on me, and um, it was causing me to not be myself. So I am so blessed, and I am so glad that I am out of that situation, and hopefully I will never have to deal with a lot of those people ever again in my life. So another reason why why did I stop? So when I heard that, and it was in my mom's voice, it's my mom pushing me, like, you know, why did you? Because not only did I stop doing this channel, I kind of, stopped doing my clothing, and I still was doing thought ops. But I promised myself. I said, because last summer I stayed in the house. I really didn't do nothing. Um, and I was like, I told myself, I like, this summer, it's gonna be different. And like this, I was just like staying in the house, trying to do little activities with me and my son, which I try to do one activity with my son. My son just like pissed me off, but we all know kids. Um, so I was just like, I was dealing with grief. It was the 1 year anniversary of my mom passing away, and it's like, I can't really describe the feeling. It's something that you actually have to. Um, it's something that you actually have to go through in order to understand the feeling, or see why people feel the way that they feel when they're dealing with this. Because I can't describe. I really can't describe the feeling. Um, it just feel like something is missing. I mean, we could have people like, I love my son. I have family that I love, brother, sister, father, cousins, aunts, uncles, friends. But there is nothing that could truly compare to a mother's love, especially when that woman carried you for 9 months. Like, you grew up in her body, like she carried you. So it's like losing a mother is. is rough because whenever I do something good, I just recently got a vehicle that I wanted that I've been wanting for years, and I did a vehicle make. Is it make? Yeah, vehicle make that. I don't know if I want to. I don't want to be bragging and all that other stuff, but I've been wanting one of these vehicles for years, and I finally got it. And it's so crazy. Like when I said the tide is turning, it's so crazy how I got it because I had a vehicle before and it was paid off, so I really didn't want to get another vehicle because I didn't want the monthly payments because my vehicle was paid off, but my vehicle was up in miles. Um, my vehicle was like over 130,000 miles, and it's been in a couple car accidents, not due to me. Uh, Somebody hit it in the parking lot. Somebody hit it while I was driving. Um, so I wanted to get some value out of this vehicle, and it's crazy because I have been looking for a vehicle for probably like 3 weeks, and I got played at one car dealership with it's a car dealership in Akron. I ain't gonna say the name, Vanderveer Cadillac, but it's some funny stuff happened with this salesperson. They played me and all this other stuff, and so because that was my secondary vehicle because the vehicle I was looking for or whatever the brand or the make model and all that stuff. A lot of the vehicles I came across were in accidents, and it's crazy because I would get on the online, I would see the Carfax online that said this vehicle has one owner and no accidents, and then I would get to the dealership and then they would run me the Carfax and the vehicle had all these accidents and it was crazy. So it's funny because I got played out of the vehicle, my secondary vehicle on a Friday, so I was pissed off. I was pissed off Friday and Saturday. And so Sunday, I happened to check my email, and lo and behold, there was a vehicle, the make and model that I was looking for. Um, it was like a year older than what I really wanted, but they didn't have no pictures of it. The price was right, mileage was right. I looked online; they didn't even have pictures of it yet because I had just got in, and so I looked at the Carfax online and said no accident. So I was like, okay. So I made an inquiry about it, and I went to go look at it on a Thursday, and I was really enthused on looking at it. Um, where I stay at, the car dealership is like on the west side of Cleveland, so it's like a 40-minute drive. So I took the 40-minute drive. I really didn't want to because it was like on that Thursday, it was like 98 degrees. It was hot that day too. So I was just like, man, I don't know if I want to go look at it because I'm like, I've been going to dealerships, I've been dealing with all this crap. I really don't want to do it. But I was like, man, I'm one of the type of people, if I, give my word to say I'm going to do something, I value people's time because I want people to value my time. So I was like, I've already made the appointment. I'm going to go look at it. So I went and I looked at the vehicle, took it for a test drive. Everything was A1. And I got back and I was kind of like, I don't know if I should do it, but I was like, this is a sign. Like, so they looked at my vehicle and they gave me $2,000 more than what my vehicle was worth for on Kelly Blue Book. So I was like, this is crazy. I'm like, there is too many things happening in a row because I'm not lucky like that. I'm like, there's too many things happening in order for this deal to go down. So it was like the mileage was low, the price was right. They're giving me $2,000 more than what my vehicle was worth. Um, the monthly payments was good, so I was like, man, I'm just gonna go for it. So I put a deposit down, and that was Thursday, and I ended up picking up the car that Saturday. So I got lucky with that. So I'm like, man, I got a new car, new job, and I was like, man, the tide is turning. I was sad to give up my old car because I had a lot of memories, and I felt like it was part of me because me and that car went through a lot of stuff in my personal life. So I was sad giving up that car. So um So a lot of the tide was turning, but that phrase, "Why did you stop?" has been in my head, head, and I was like, I'm going to get back to it. I'm going to go ahead and just record an episode. I'm going to get back to it, but me, I was procrastinating to the point where I was like, look, enough is enough. I know I know you're still grieving your mom passing. I know a lot of stuff is going on in life. There's a lot of people that I dealt with that kind of turned their back on me, whatever. Kind of left me, whatever. It's crazy because like with my mom, and if you haven't experienced this, I'm sorry when you do experience this because I don't want no. It happens, but it's like I wouldn't want nobody to go through losing a mother, a parent, or whatever. Because I wouldn't wish this feeling on my worst enemy. But if you haven't dealt with it, when you do, there's going to be a lot of people that say, "Oh, I'm gonna check on you. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna make sure you okay." It's cool for the first couple of weeks. After that, you see who your real ones. When you have somebody really close to you pass away, you see who the real ones are, and it's crazy because the real ones really are the people that you don't even expect. The ones that never told you that they love you or they'll watch out for you and everything. There's some situations where I got done dirty, and by people that that claim that they love me or had love for me, and the people that I wouldn't even expect, like you don't really have a relationship with, stepped up to the plate. So I'm appreciative of them. I always have people in my corner. My boy Wesbo, um, Jermaine, Terrence from my co-host from Thought Ops and everything, his family and everybody. There's been a lot of people um, that really had my back. And then after my mom passed, there was a lot of family secrets that came out too. So I yeah, I'm not gonna talk about that because I don't want to put my family business out there or whatever. But there was a lot of stuff. I was at a cookout over my sister's house, and a lot of stuff was exposed. Um, so a lot of stuff was exposed. So yeah. So let me go to my talking points on. So I gave the reasons why stop. So how I'm readjusting. Um, I'm readjusting with this. I don't know, call it a podcast or a YouTube channel. Uh, so when we do things, we look for the perfect conditions. Like the time has to be right, the mood has to be right, and I got stuck in that sentiment as well. Is sentiment the right word to use? I don't know. You know what I mean? If it's not the right word, I got stuck in that because I would have my son, and I was like, I'll wait till my son leave and record. And by the time my son leave, I'm like, oh well, I'm sleepy, I'm tired. Let me go to bed. I'll do it tomorrow. And it's just like you get into that pattern, and so I'm like, when maybe I might need to start recording when my son is here and setting a few moments aside or doing something different and or just forcing myself because when you try to wait on the perfect conditions, those conditions sometimes the conditions just not perfect. So you have to find ways. So that's how I'm readjusting. I'm thinking of different ways on, how I could do this differently and not just wait on the perfect conditions. Because if I keep waiting on the perfect conditions, knowing who I am, I'm just gonna keep procrastinating, and then I'm just gonna keep pushing off. Like, well, let me do it tomorrow. Well, let me do it the weekend. Then the weekend get here, and it's like I got a ton of stuff to do, and I'm tired. Like, well, I don't feel like doing it because I'm tired. I don't feel like sitting up, man. And it's crazy because maybe I'm just pure lazy because it's like all you have to do is set up the phone and hit record. But I don't know if it's like I need my brain to function, my thoughts to. I don't know what it is. I just be making excuses or whatever. So that's why waiting on the perfect conditions. I can only speak for myself. Sometimes it just doesn't work. Um, Comparison to others. So I watch a lot of other YouTube channels and podcasts, and you see them, and you try to mimic what they do, and you have to realize that everything doesn't work the same way for everybody. So mimicking or trying to compare yourself to people can be a downfall, because if it doesn't come out how you think it should come out or how they do it, then you get discouraged. That's when you stop. And so I'm learning to not compare myself. You could look at other YouTube channels, podcasts, and pick up some pointers. Um, see how they do certain things, and do it your way. Just like I said, I was trying to do everything and try to think of everything off top and all this other stuff. And but I was like, man, I'm just going for what I know and write it down on a piece of paper. And I mean, I don't see how this piece of paper is gonna hurt this me talking to you guys. It can't be that distracting. You got to realize that I am old. My birthday coming up next month, so I'm getting up there in age, and sometimes we become creatures of habit, and we have to go back to what we know and go back to what works for us. So, comparing, trying to be overly perfect. Uh, I would record episodes and I was like, well, I would stop and re-record because I didn't like I said this, or I didn't like I said that, or how I said this, how I said that, or I was stuttering, I messed up this word. And I'm just like, man, if I'm talking to you guys, this is how I have conversation with people. So trying to be too perfect, trying to compare yourself to other people. And whatever I'll say, I'm not dogging nobody or dissing nobody how they do their channels. Like, I'm not reading from a script or anything like that. So I can't, keep comparing myself and feeling like um, what I'm doing is not up to par to what they're doing. It would help if I got more subscribers and more comments and more likes. But that's, hey, when you're beginning and you're working out, you got to grind for all that. So it's truly, truly, truly a grind. Um, Readjusting. Uh, So I realized that, stopping doesn't mean that I have failed. Sometimes you have to stop um, and collect. It should be collect or recollect. So sometimes you have to stop and, you know, um, kind of collect yourself, get everything in order, especially when you're living and, there's a whole bunch of chaos going on. Life is chaos. Life is on diagonal ups and downs. So have to learn to adjust to those. If you need to stop, then go ahead and stop. But just because you stop, that don't mean you fail. That don't mean that you have to permanently stop. So whenever I need a break or whenever you need a break, it's okay to stop. It's okay to, um, try to readjust and do things the proper way. Do things at your own speed. It's going back to comparison. Just stop comparing yourself to everybody. And if it comes to you, it comes to you. And but if not, you can say, hey, at least I tried. You have to realize or understand why you are doing this and who you are doing it for. I'm doing this for me and to help others out as well, and have a little fun. My free time whenever I have a little free time. So just have a little fun. Hang out with you guys, be a better person. So, my closing thoughts. What did I learn? What did I learn? I learned that I have to, when I'm feeling burnt out, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, that I just need to take a chill pill, stop, readjust, and get myself together. What can I do better? Just putting out episodes. Um, just being myself, being me, stop comparing myself to others, and doing the best that I can. Um, I will keep going at this. I can't promise that there won't be any other breaks or everything, but I'm putting a concerted effort down to add more episodes. I have an episode that I recorded like right before I stopped that I'm gonna put out as well as me telling a story about after my mom passed. So I'm gonna put that out. So you know, what else do I want to say? Let's see. So if it's anything that you would like to say, comment. Like, have you ever stopped? And if you stopped, what motivated you to start back up? So you can leave that in the comment, in the comments. You can like this. And if there's anything that you would like to know, leave that in the comments. Anything you would like for me to discuss, leave that in the comments. You could hit me up DM with all that other good stuff and everything. So if it's something that you truly enjoy, truly want to do, don't let it be permanent if you stop. Don't worry about it. Don't feel like you have to be better than this person or better that person. Just do your thing. So I think I rambled enough. I didn't think that this episode was gonna be that long. I thought that's another thing too. It's just like, oh, I have to make these episodes long enough for people to watch. Hey, if I get on here and talk for 4-5 minutes, that's what it's gonna be, 4-5 minutes. So that's what I'm gonna do. But I appreciate y'all for watching another episode of Life on Diagonal. As always, I am your host, EJ Briz. Peace.
Think about it. First you born, then you live and die. So if tomorrow never comes, it comes at no surprise. Looking death into his eyes, yeah, I witness guys start to recognize, analyze their own demise. Some people wasting time, walking around hypnotized, blinded by success, impressed, but can't